Hi everyone, I'm Amelia. A few years ago, Alibaba wasn't just a company, it was the symbol of modern China. Millions of people used it every single day. Investors believed it would dominate the future of global commerce. And at the center of it all was one man, Jack Ma. But then, something changed. The IPO that was supposed to become the biggest in history suddenly disappeared. Jack Ma vanished from public view. And the company that once looked unstoppable slowly faded from the spotlight. If you enjoy deep business documentaries like this, don't forget to subscribe, because this story is far bigger than Alibaba itself. Today, we're uncovering the rise and the silent fall of Alibaba.
For years, Alibaba functioned as the undisputed Amazon of China, a digital leviathan that touched almost every retail transaction in the country. Recently, the conversation around this dominant empire has faded into a mysterious silence. At its absolute peak prior to 2020, this campus served as the nerve center for a company dictating the terms of global e-commerce. They possessed immense scale, leveraging hundreds of millions of active buyers to move billions of dollars in daily volume. Beneath that massive footprint, friction was already building. State regulators were fielding an increasing number of complaints regarding widespread counterfeiting on the platform, alongside aggressive tactics used to lock independent sellers into exclusive contracts. This relentless expansion and the sheer leverage Alibaba exerted over millions of merchants put the company on a collision course with Beijing's regulatory bodies, long before any public conflict occurred. The public face of that leverage was founder Jack Ma, operating with a level of perceived invulnerability almost entirely unique within the Chinese tech sector. That invulnerability was tested in late 2020. Standing before an audience in Shanghai, Ma delivered a blistering public critique of the state-backed banking establishment, accusing the country's financial regulators of operating with a pawn shop mentality. The reaction was immediate. Clips of the remarks spread rapidly across social media, sparking intense public debate and swift, highly visible blowback from state-aligned media channels. By directly criticizing the architects of the national economy on a public stage, corporate hubris had directly challenged the authority of the state. The most immediate casualty was Alibaba's financial sister company. Ant Group was anticipating its initial public offering, a massive listing expected to pull in roughly $34 billion and dominate the global markets. Just days before those shares were set to trade, government officials abruptly pulled the plug, halting the listing entirely and sending shockwaves through the global market. The regulatory freeze quickly extended to the parent company. Beijing levied a sweeping $2.8 billion antitrust fine against Alibaba itself, citing those earlier monopolistic practices with sellers. Following the fine, Jack Ma completely withdrew from public life. He made no appearances and issued no statements, causing investor confidence to rapidly dissolve. The billions erased from the balance sheet sent an unambiguous message. No individual or corporation is bigger than the state. You can see the damage clearly on this trading board. From 2021 through 2023, Alibaba's stock price plummeted, and its once guaranteed year-over-year revenue growth began to plateau. With the giant pinned down by compliance audits, the local e-commerce landscape fractured. Aggressive domestic competitors like PDD Holdings seized the opening, siphoning off hundreds of millions of budget-conscious shoppers. At the exact same time, the cross-border pipeline began to leak. International consumers looking for cheap manufacturing moved their loyalties to hyper-optimized export machines like Shein and Temu. Forcibly opening the market to these hungry competitors ended Alibaba's monopoly and permanently redistributed its market share. To survive, leadership initiated a major restructuring campaign. They divided the monolithic empire into 6 independently run subsidiaries. By compartmentalizing key engines like cloud and logistics, the company minimizes its threat profile. This fragmented structure is far less conspicuous. But playing defense has a steep cost. While Alibaba was busy reorganizing, the global technology sector accelerated into the AI boom. Alibaba continues to develop its own models, but struggles to compete with the computational momentum and media influence of global titans like OpenAI and NVIDIA. Choosing this safer, less conspicuous path diverted critical focus and capital at a moment of maximum technological shift. As global leaders accelerated,
Alibaba's own AI development remained stuck in the shadow of its defensive restructuring. This doesn't mean the company is failing. Today, Alibaba remains a massive, profitable utility, quietly moving millions of packages and processing huge revenues. Yet its cultural footprint has been deliberately muted. The aggressive media presence has been scrubbed to ensure the company never draws that kind of state scrutiny again. Alibaba exists today as a perfectly engineered utility, a profitable, controlled engine that powers national logistics while remaining permanently barred from returning to its former status as a dominant empire.